Hello, my name is Lacey Driscoll, and this is my recording for my Educational Diagnostician's Admissions interview for Sam Houston State University. I've been a special education teacher for the last 3 consecutive years. I've taught at 2 school districts. The first 2 years I taught at Groveton ISD, where I was the K-5 special ed teacher, teaching resource and inclusion, and this year I've had the opportunity to come teach at Dayton ISD, where I am the kindergarten through 2nd grade special education teacher on one of our 3 elementary campuses, and I'm the head special education teacher for my particular campus. The philosophy that I've developed over the last 3 years of teaching students with disabilities is that it's ever evolving and every child is extraordinarily different, much like a thumbprint. Not only are our special education codes, laws, and acronyms changing, but the way that we as educators view our students in the fact that they are all different, we should find ways that makes each and every child successful through differentiation of our lessons. The forms of assessments that I'm mostly familiar with is formative and summative assessments. Formative assessments I use on a daily basis, more so of keeping tabs of where my students are at over a short period of time as far as where they're at on their IEP goals or grade level TEKS. The summative assessments that I use are more formal. They usually come in the form of a test mostly, or I pull data from the from the general education teacher and see where the student is at compared to grade level standards. The summative assessments usually come at the end of a unit or a lesson to determine a student's gaps. The assessments I feel should be used in a school setting much like they already are. Assessments I do feel should be used in a manner to determine placements of students' progress, maybe to determine where a student is at compared to grade level standards, as I've mentioned. I don't feel like it should necessarily reflect a grade. I do feel that we should be able to draw conclusions from assessments by determining A, is their progress shown by the student or not, and B, where is the student at compared to grade level requirements. I do feel that we as educators sometimes focus on the negative side of it, and we look at what the child cannot do and what the child is not successful at, and while that is very, very equally important, I feel that we can turn it around a little bit into more of a positive manner and look at what this child can do, what this child is successful at, and then go from there as far as closing the gaps between what he or she is unsuccessful at. And so I know you're wondering, what experiences do I have that would prepare me for the rigorous coursework to become an educational diagnostician? And one example that I can give you is that one there at Sam Houston State University. My senior year last semester, I was required to take anatomy and physiology for my degree. I'll give you the short version of the story. I made a 36 on my first exam, and when reality hit me really hard, I found myself in the library and the professor's office every waking moment I could, and at every study session that I could make. My next test score came back and I made a 90 on that test. And so I believe that I have a lot of drive, self-motivation, and determination to accomplish whatever it is that I set my mind to. And now you're wondering why it is I want to be an educational diagnostician. I would like to become an educational diagnostician because I am very intrigued by the ways of assessment. I feel that I can play a bigger role in the interdisciplinary team that I've been so heavily involved in for the last 3 years. And on a more selfish note, I feel like I have unfinished business not receiving a master's degree and not accomplishing the goal of becoming an educational diagnostician. So again, my name is Lacey Driscoll, and this is my recording for my Educational Diagnostician's Admissions interview for Sam Houston State University. Thank you for your time and thank you for your attention.